As many of you have probably heard from your credible news sources or different economists you listen to, a recession is on its way. It's either going to come next year or a bit after that. Yet you're going to hear these corporate hacks on corporate media, of course, talk about how this economy is amazing, how it's doing so great, how it's one of the best economies the world has ever seen. I think Trump says this in every one of his rallies. Yet, this isn't looking at a broader picture of the economy. Of course, they don't care about that, obviously. Why would corporate media care? It's not very sexy, it's not very interesting. It would probably, cause many people to be aware and maybe a little angry, but, But I'll let you guys be the judges. I'll lay out some statistics about our economy in a broader sense, and you guys tell me if they seem like they belong to a good economy. For starters, 57% of Americans don't have enough cash to cover a $500 unexpected expense. 78% of U.S. workers are living paycheck to paycheck. Nearly half of workers earn less than $30,000 a year. And on the job side, since you hear Trump and his Republican friends talk about how the economy is putting up all these jobs, so many jobs for so many people, and you hear Fox tell you that it's good that you're working 2 to 3 jobs. It keeps you busy. It's good for you. They found that 94% of net job growth in the past decade was in the alternative work category. That's a lot of jobs. 94% in the alternative work category. Now you guys tell me, do those statistics seem like they belong to a healthy economy? Again, one would beg to differ. Now, previously you've seen on corporate media especially these reports of consumer confidence, that it's good and all of that. Well, there's a reason for that. There's a lot of fucking debt. People take out a lot of debt. That's why. And this could be seen in reports that in 2018, our debt reached a record all-time high of $13.3 trillion. Our credit card debt reached an all-time high of $834 billion. Mortgage debt reached a new high even higher than before the mortgage crisis, $9.4 trillion. Personal loan debt reached $291 billion. Student loan debt, as we know, is sky high. Auto loan balances hit $1.27 trillion. Now, debt isn't always bad. There are good reasons to get debt sometimes, but the amount matters, because if the situation becomes unstable, the economy can become unstable, as we've seen in previous times, and we're getting small glimpses of that now, because bankruptcies in July increased by 5%. Not a lot, but in 2019, there seems to be a trend. And these bankruptcies are really prevalent in the states in the South. So, that tells you something about how those governors are running their states. Now, back to the corporate hacks. Here you're going to see one of Trump's favorite buffoons, known as Larry Kudlow, at his best. Freaking clown.
Let's not be afraid of some optimism.
Okay, you say that, but you actually said that in 2007, right before the second worst downturn in American history. This is what you wrote. There's no recession coming. This is in December of 07. The pessimistas were wrong. It's not going to happen. The Bush boom is alive and well. It's finishing up its 6th consecutive year with more to come. The more to come was a massive downturn. So I admire your optimism, but the data is pointing in another direction.
Well, I plead guilty to that late 2007 forecast. I plead guilty.
Clown, right? I know. But that's not even the point. I don't know how, well, I do know, because he's a corporate sellout that probably takes a lot of money from special interests. But in a perfect world, I don't know how this guy even has a job. Okay, for starters, he's fucked up so many times on his predictions. In Clinton's era, he said that his reforms were gonna trash the economy and all of that stuff. But what actually ended up happening is that the US economy began an 8-year expansion, creating 21 million jobs, and it seems amazing at this point, but balancing the federal budget. In 2002, he fucked up again. He said the shock therapy of a decisive war, talking about the Iraq war, will elevate the stock market by a couple thousand points. Now let's just ignore the disgusting nature of that quote, of saying that this war that is going to kill a bunch of soldiers and civilians, because that's pretty predictable, is going to make our stock market better. Yeah. Okay. Well, that didn't even end up happening. Over the next 6 months, the Dow dropped 1,000 points. And like we all should know, it wasted trillions of our taxpayer dollars. But all of this could be seen from this guy just by looking at his employment timeline. There's this thing called the revolving door in politics, where individuals go from government positions back into private companies, private industries, and then they go back to government position. Any sensible person would think, man, unless that person's a saint, there's gonna be some conflicts of interest. And especially when you look at this guy's occupations in the private sector, in both of them, he was part of investment banking. So you know where this guy's coming from. You know his reasons. You know his purpose for doing things. It's pretty simple.